Welcome back to Are We the Only Ones? I'm Kathy.
Hi, I'm Rai.
And today we're going to talk about some current events that come off the top of our head. And then we're trying to avoid always talking about the Epstein news, but it's always in the news.
Yes.
Okay, so quick update. Ghislaine Maxwell today. I saw that she has been granted work release.
Yep.
Which is absolutely a disgrace.
It's absolutely disgusting because she human trafficked children and now she's just able to roam free and she gets basically to go to
and she was actually part of the assaults. She actually raped them too. So it's not like she just trafficked them. She actually she was participating actively. And I was thinking about this today. I was driving. I was thinking, God, there is a difference with you when you like for instance, I'm going on a cruise and I'm going to be sailing solo, and I'll be doing an episode about that. And in that, I'm realizing they're part of the way that I'm kind of keep myself safe, because we've had my husband and I've had discussions on how to make sure I'm safe by myself, because I've never sailed by myself, right?
Yeah, because you're so openly trusting.
Yeah, this is the problem.
I am not.
So I was thinking, okay, one of the things I think is a good idea is I'm going to find every single, all-girls cruise that I can see around. If there's, an all-girls, bachelor party or, a girls' trip or a sister girls' trip, whatever. And just kind of say, hi, introduce myself and say, hey, I'm not trying to, join your group, but, if you ever find me, coming up to you, randomly talking to you, acting like I know you, it's probably because I'm trying to get away from some
That's
guy.
That's just girl code nowadays.
But, just a front do it. So they're like, who's this lady that keeps walking around? She's our friend. So I can just be like, oh, I'm just going to let you know, if I do that, that's why. And I don't want to tell people I'm sailing solo, but I'll, let you guys know. But I'm thinking this is coded through, I'm vetting them through the fact that we are all the same gender.
Yeah.
So Ghislaine Maxwell would then go against that. So then I realized, oh my God,
I was telling you the fireball story on the phone about how...
Remind me.
Okay, it was a girl. She was texting a guy. She had met on a dating app. They were supposed to meet up at a bar, and he texted her. He's like, "Oh, sorry, something's happening with my car. I'm running late." And so she's sitting there. This girl walks up to her, starts talking to her, and is like, "Oh yeah, I really like your nail polish." Da 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 da. Starts just having this conversation. Okay. And then the guy ends up texting her "Hey, I'm so sorry. I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it. I can't get there tonight." Okay. And then so the girl's like, "Oh, you know what? That sucks. Do you want to come hang out or whatever?" So as she's leaving, there's a guy that orders a fireball shot, and that's the cue that the human trafficker, who is a female, is bringing the woman out, because you're ingrained to trust other women.
Oh, so the bar knows that this person is a dangerous person?
Not the bar, just a man at the bar. Orders a fireball.
Okay.
To confirm, okay, I see you leaving with her.
Okay.
And then
they're signaling each other.
They're signaling each other.
Okay.
And they end up murdering the girl.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so, it makes sense that if you're nefarious, you're going to, of course, think in the minds of a person that's a perpetual victim. Who would they trust? They're going to trust a woman. So then recruit a woman.
You recruit a woman to do that. Yeah. So,
but that's why she can't get out. Right? It's the level of extra manipulation and betrayal, and I guess in a man's world, you're like, yeah, that's what we do to get you guys to date us all the time. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Men always, in some way, but for a woman to do it, we're just not prepared. And then you have to add, I haven't watched the documentary about her yet, because it's going to take me a little bit to just kind of stomach it, but I've seen enough stuff in the past about how are her connections, and she was a very elegant woman. She was the kind of person, when she came in the room, or you walked in and saw her across the room, apparently, her elegance,
she had an aura.
Yeah, and so then that adds to how I'm no wonder these girls also got captivated by her, right? And then you get sent to the addresses.
This powerful, strong woman, and it's this badass babe. You were like, oh, I want to be.
And then add the size of the mansion you're going to, and then we all, when you're grinding and hustling, you're pounding the pavement in the beginning. From a professional standpoint, anytime you get an opportunity for somebody who then invites you to their house, and their house is really nice, that's also sort of a vetting process. You've put for them too. Like, they have a nice house. That must mean they're successful. That must mean XYZ, right? So then you have those two things. Then they happen to know famous people, or they happen to know politicians that we respect or whatever. Add that. That's another layer that, like, people need to understand that is so overpowering. And so that, like, if we have all of that, and then you have all these other weird murders, you know, in the prison. Like, you have to understand, like, we're not... They're really good at sort of, like, breaking it down and making it seem like it's not that big of a deal all of a sudden. And then you can kind of take those talking points and go, yeah, I can apply it here and there and understand that, because we're so desensitized. We know how common it is for women. I can't even go on a fucking solo cruise on a ship I've been on
without
many times.
Worrying.
Well, thank you. Mm-hmm. I'm in a suite, right? Like, I'm in, like, the most protected, like, privileged kind of vibe. I'm a regular, but I'm like, do I have to pretend that I'm with my family? Because many times I'm on the cruise and I will go to dinner by myself. I will go to the casino by myself. I will go wherever by myself. But it's also like, maybe people have seen me with my family, so they're like, oh yeah, she's by herself, but I know that she's with people.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, do I pretend I'm with people, but I'm really not with people the whole time?
I don't know. That's so hard. Cause
I can't even tell crew that I'm alone to protect me. I don't know what crew, you know what I mean? I don't even know.
Okay, because that's the other thing I listen to a lot of true crime podcasts.
Oh God.
So that's
that's scary. I was like, I don't want to know.
I'm already a fucking pessimist as it is, and then I listen to true crime podcasts. It doesn't help. But there's a case of this girl who went on a cruise. She was I won't say a girl. She was a woman. She was like 22, 23 years old.
Yeah, woman.
And she went with her. It was like parents taking their 2 grown children, just like having a family vacation. Her dad wakes up in the middle of the night at like 4 a.m. or whatever. He sees her on the balcony. And then he's like, okay, she got home, because they stayed at the club, her and her brother.
Okay.
And then they went back to the room. And so he kind of wakes up to make sure that the kids are back, which you do even when your kids are fucking in their 20s.
Yeah.
Like, you just do. And something wakes him up around like 6 a.m. and he notices she's not there. And he's like, okay, well, maybe she went to bed. So they don't think anything of it. And they get up the next day. She's gone. And there was a photographer there taking pictures of people at the club.
Oh.
But ironically, all the pictures that she was in got deleted somehow. And so then I guess they ported in some village, city, town, country, whatever.
Okay.
They had the crew search the ship. They said, hey, you know what? She's not on the ship. She might be off the ship. Either you can get off the ship and go look for her, and we'll go on without you. Mm. Yeah. Or...
Oh, because it was time to leave.
Because it was time to leave. Because they were searching the cruise ships are ginormous.
Yeah.
So they were searching, and so they get off the ship. Long story short, she's never been found, but they think she might be a victim of human trafficking, because there's pictures of people that look like her, that resemble her, that have some of the same tattoos as her, that have popped up on human trafficking websites.
Oh yeah, she definitely got trafficked.
So,
is this the Royal Caribbean? Netflix?
Amy
Yeah,
something? I think
so. I haven't watched it yet.
You watched it?
No, because I was afraid to, because I was going to go on the cruise. So, spoiler alert.
Alert.
No, I should know. I should be aware. I should definitely be aware.
It's just, I think, being aware of your surroundings.
Well, so, number one on the human trafficking front, I was like, should I get off the ship at Ensenada and can I go get my normal ceviche by myself from Food Network? Anthony Bourdain recommended, and Eric's like, absolutely not. You're gonna go by yourself.
You're not.
Can I go to the port only? He's like, no, you can't. Don't get off the ship in Ensenada by yourself. I was like, okay. And then I was like, well, I can do Catalina, right? He's like, yeah. So that's good. So, but that's one part that day I have to figure out what to do all day long. So I'm like, maybe I'll like learn. I'm gonna watch videos on how to like edit video. Maybe like watch a Final Cut Pro tutorial. I'm just gonna like try to like work. Just do like work. Mm-hmm. Maybe do a fashion photo shoot episode, something, series on there. Just try to do that. And I think also being officially podcasting in a way makes me almost more safe. Does that make sense? Like if somebody sees me on podcasting and I'm
documenting,
and it's official, it's an official capacity for something. So then it's versus just like, you're just traveling by yourself and who's this little, because I don't want to get hit on. Mm-hmm. But this the other thing is, I was like, so I can't go to the club by myself. That's out now. can I go to karaoke? Yeah, I think I can go to karaoke, but I think that's okay. But going to dinner by myself, I go to dinner by myself. Like, what if I make friends with somebody? Do I go to dinner with them? No. He's like, no, we don't go to dinner with anybody. I go, so I know, obviously I don't invite any guys back to my room, even if we're friends. Don't bring them back to my room. He's like, yes. I go, but what about, like, a group of women? He's like, no, you don't bring any. And I was like, really, women?
No.
See, like, you're like, you don't know.
You don't
not in
ever
your room.
show anybody where your room is.
Yeah, so then I was like,
no one.
Oh. So that was the other thing. He's like, he was just like, oh my God. And then I realized he got nervous, like, what the? And I'm going, like, and I just know myself. Also, like, as you get social, and you're hanging out. Not in the casino, I know I'm going to meet people, but I'm not playing that much. So because I'm not going to be playing that much, I won't be like. But also, the casino is a safe place to be by yourself. If you're sailing solo, the casino is the best place.
Yeah, nobody wants to bother you.
Everybody's
like, everybody's
cameras everywhere. Gambling. You know what I mean? So, but I'm not trying to be in there. So
yeah,
I was like, oh, shoot, what am I going to do? Then I
like
realized,
a spa?
Yeah, but that's very expensive. The spa is so expensive. Then I might as well just go gamble. You know what I'm saying? Because that's like so much money that I might as well go gamble, win the money for the spa, and then do that. And so, like, it would be a lot. That's what I used to do.
Maybe that's what you should do.
Well, yeah.
Gamble day one.
But I'm trying not to gamble.
To get money for the spa, and then when you get to that port or whatever that you can't, that'll be your spa day.
Yeah. And I have onboard credit, so I could use it. Mm-hmm. I could do some, so I'm just trying to, like, apply properly. I have, like, $130 of onboard credit, and then $200 of free play for the casino. So I have $200
Is this the one
play.
that you asked me, like, hey, could you go on this one?
Well,
I wasn't able.
Well, you're going on a vacation soon. That's why I can't go doing things. But I also don't think he would have fun with those girls.
No.
That's why I was like, I don't think, realistically, he would have fun. So, I'll just work, I'll figure it out. I'll do food videos. I'll maybe interview people like, hey, you're for some cruiser, you want to talk, whatever. And just like, I tend to make guy friends. That's the problem. So I got to, like, not do that. Because one time I was I was playing poker in Atlantic City at the Borgata. Yeah. And it was cash. And at the end, I got, like, friendly with the group of guys. And then they were like, oh, hey, do you want to come up to our room and, like, smoke some weed? And I was like, oh, no, I'm okay. I have my own pen. So I don't need to go. And I went home. But had I not had any, I probably would have, because they seemed to like, and Eric's like, are you fucking kidding me? Right? So then I was like, yeah, I probably need to. But I did feel safe, but it sounds stupid. Because even though I did feel safe with those guys, like, they didn't strike me like that. I also was like, man, there's 6 of you and 1 of me in your room. Not the greatest statistic for me. And if something does happen, I look dumb. As opposed to it being like, they were just nice, like a nice group of guys.
You shouldn't, it just sucks because you shouldn't feel that way.
Exactly.
You shouldn't be the one that's like, oh, I look dumb. It should be like, why are they such monsters that 6 men would gang up on 1 woman? And, like, not one of those 6 would stand up for you. You know what I mean? Right. It's sad how our society is. Yeah. And, like, that adds to, okay, so I had my thing in Japan with the actual court, with the military. And then I came back to America, and then I remember, or there's something else that had happened, either like a cable guy, I remember a cable guy made a pass at me and then gave me free cable, apologized. And then, How long, though? How long did you get free cable?
Like 6 months. And then I was at the YMCA in Park Slope, and I had a ballet class, and there was one of the guys that worked there, and he used to watch me watch me in my ballet class every day. And then one day he came up to me and he goes, I love watching you every day. I come here and I watch you every day. And then after that, I was like, I had posted this on Facebook. I go, I was told by a secret admirer today that they've been watching me during ballet class, and they work.
That's creepy.
And now I have to go find a new ballet class. And everyone was like cracking up. Like, people were like, all the guys were laughing. All of them were like, dude, yeah, you do, And then I had to talk to my ballet teacher. She said, where'd you go? And I was like, well, and I didn't want to get the guy in trouble because he didn't do anything wrong. He didn't do anything wrong. He just gave me a compliment, and he let me know that he's consistently watching me. I go 3 days a week, so it was like every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, he's watching me, right? And
you have to let him know. Be like, hey, that's low-key creepy.
Yeah, but then I also don't want to ignite a situation like, yo, what, so I'm just trying to be cool, but then I did feel very uncomfortable.
He needs to have a guy friend say, hey, that's not cool that you go and watch people do ballet 3 days a week. You need to find a different hobby.
Well, he works there, too.
Well,
so that was why he's there. It's not
why
like he's
doesn't
just coming
he go watch the guys bench press something and leave people alone?
I mean, and the mayor of New York actually went to this, because I used to sit next to him on the exercise bike before I would go to class. So it was like, it's a very well-known location. So I ended up talking to my ballet teacher, and I was like telling her, because she didn't understand, why can't you continue classes just because he said this? And I said, well, this is the thing. I've already gone through a court case. And let's say, God forbid, something happened. If I have another court case where I have to actually do that, they're going to look at me like if there's something wrong with me because there's a pattern of something with me versus understanding that, like, that's just how bad men are.
Yeah.
And I just need to, now that I've already had an official one, I have to remove myself from anything because I don't want to seem like somebody who just, like,
falls
flagrantly accused. You see what I'm saying? That's what it starts to, and I'm like, I just need to remove. So then, is that sad that I have to remove myself from activities I liked because of this? Yeah. But this is how you got to move sometimes because, and that's
a woman,
and
you
that's like the ship.
Yourself.
Like, so back to the cruise, it's the same thing. Like, I was like, there's like a singles event, but I don't think that's the kind of singles, like not like single sailors. And he's like, you can't do that. So I don't think that's right.
That's like if you're trying to pick up something.
Right. So I was like, solo singles, not the same.
Nope.
Similar, not the same. So I was like, okay, think about this properly. But you don't, you realize how funny you're like thinking about these, like, you know what I mean? Like, why would I have to splice the difference between singles and solo all of a sudden? Because
it could be a
couldn't we just go hang out and meet people?
Girls and a group trip.
Right.
Go to singles night.
But that would be even safe for me to go in there and go, hey guys, I'm just here. I'm just going to be safe place because I'm not trying to like.
Yeah.
But I think single guys would go in there too, right?
Men, yes.
Yeah, okay.
But then there will be single men who think that you're available because you're single at the singles party.
And I've been like, I'm married, but sometimes men don't. That doesn't
Some guys
matter.
don't care.
It doesn't matter. I used to think that was the gate.
No.
And then I learned like that was merely a speed bump for people. And I'm like, I thought that was like the wall.
I've had a guy who, and this was before we were married, but I had him and I was with Carl. I'll bleep that out. I had my first son, and I was with my partner Carl, and we weren't married at the time. And
I know partner always sounds like.
I told this guy. This is when I worked at Macy's, he would come up and he would hit on me all the time. He was a good-looking dude, too.
Okay, so it wasn't, like, disgusting and scary.
I mean, it still is kind of disgusting and scary.
Wait, he knows you're married?
Well, I wasn't married. But
he knows you're with somebody, and he knows you're the kid.
I have a baby daddy, and I'm with him, and I love him. And he was like, that's okay. He's like, I'll fly you both out to New York. I can treat you both. And I was like, whoa. Like, That's
very...
Yeah, and he was like, I will show him how, like, a real man should be treating you. And like all this stuff.
Oh, that's too much.
And I was like, ugh. You see what I mean? It still was disgusting and scary because he didn't care. He just didn't care. So gross. So
I saw this I have this movie about Materialists. Pedro Pascal, Dakota Johnson, and Chris Evans.
Yeah. I haven't watched it. You watched it?
And I own it now.
You own it?
Yeah.
Is it pretty good?
I like it. I liked it. Because I liked what it made you think about. Mm-hmm. Because when I met my husband was not, like, he didn't come from money. He grew up below the poverty line, made everything on his own. So I don't look at, and I came from, like, very privileged background, everybody around. I'm not saying that we were necessarily wealthy, but I've had we are from a family of generations of, like, privilege. So with him, you could see how maybe, like, you would think that would be something like marrying at a certain social class or economic class could be something that people would think about, right? But for me, I didn't care about that. And so that movie really hits on that.
Yeah.
And it's because Dakota Johnson's character is like a matchmaker. So then you're really talking about matchmaking and sort of like almost like an algorithm computation and calculation breakdown of like the value of a person on the dating market based on all the factors.
Okay.
So then you're really talking about, in that movie, they talk about it very matter-of-factly. So it's a different way, because you can't talk about it like that.
One of them being socioeconomic status.
For sure.
Yeah.
But because she's the matchmaker, so of course she's looking at like, this is the, like, she's just breaking it down from the most capitalistic, this is her work. So that's different than there's a inappropriate behavior, moral, whatever, about, because we're talking between friends, or not having, like, you're not paying for the service for someone to figure out the code to find your right mate, then it's like totally inappropriate to talk about money like that, totally inappropriate to talk about somebody's height like that, totally inappropriate to talk about all the variables. Because like in a dating app, and I'm sure in a matchmaking thing, people are very like no one under whatever height, or only above whatever height, right? And I've seen that stated is, and it's true, this is the one way that women can straight up blame discriminate against men is height. They put it in all that, I guess, like dating profiles that people have, they always put that. That's like a thing. So like you can straight up ask, obviously for race, your gender, because you're like, preference, but then like even down to height, minimum, maximum. I don't know about weight. I'm assuming if it gets to that, probably, because I didn't do any of this, but it's like where you draw the line of like what's inappropriate to like judge somebody by, and then the reality of like,
which is so
how
weird.
people really judge people by.
It's so weird because I didn't date anybody that looked or had the same physical body type as my husband before him.
Yeah.
Like, it was not my type.
Right.
My quote-unquote type. So that's the hard part about these dating profiles is you really do, like, limit who you're going to interact with.
Yeah.
If you just think, if I were to set up my Tinder profile or whatever people use, or Bumble or whatever, and I would write down, like, this ideal dude when I was 20 years old, no offense, honey, it would not have been my current husband.
Right.
So
personality and other things like
win you over.
Well, it's not just his personality, because there's also like him showing up as a father.
Yeah.
I think also probably built a lot of like my judgment, and this is actually good advice for all girls, women. Yeah. The best way to decide if you have the person you're dating is like somebody that would be a good long-term partner.
Yeah.
Is whether or not they'd be a good father.
Right. Because
realistically,
looks fade. Looks fade. If you're thinking long-term, if you're going to be with somebody for 60 years.
But you're attracted to your husband. You can say looks fade, but you're attracted to your husband. Okay, so don't I'm not going to advocate for, like, don't settle.
But
because you have to, like, push through
I would have had my thing would have not been, like, my husband's type. But, well, when I approached him, I was actually scolding him and yelling at him. And then he kind of won me over, and then we started talking. And we've been together ever since. But I feel like if you just hone in and say, oh, I'm only going to date, like, a 6 foot and taller white guy with blonde hair and blue eyes, but, like, his hair could fall out. He could, like gain weight. He could, like, our bodies change as women. Their bodies change as men. It shouldn't just be, yes, you should be physically attracted, but you shouldn't box it into just this one specific niche.
Yeah.
Because...
Well, the movie was interesting because it has the juxtaposition of one choice that requires a lot of financial compromise, and the other choice requires zero financial compromise. And then you get to weigh out, because it's Pedro Pascal against Chris Evans. So, like, attractiveness, you're weighing out, like, the casting is done very well because it tells the story properly. Yeah. Sometimes when I'm like, why are you, this person, I don't believe in this. Like, what? Yeah. So that's why I appreciate the movie. And Dakota Johnson, through all of her, like, 50 Shades of Grey trilogy stuff, I think it prepared her for this film because now they're not related, these stories aren't related, but it's like as a viewer, and you're like, oh, she understands the nuance of all these things because inherently, because you just know, like, as an actress, like, you've actually physically gone through a lot of, so that when I think when you're talking about anything about movies and about love and advice and rom-com vibes, if they're trying to, like, present something, you want to believe that the person that is trying to do that actually has game, actually like can date, knows what they're talking about. Like, if I'm getting dating advice from somebody, I really expect that person to be someone who has dated a lot, that like has good experience with relationships. If you can't hold a relationship, then why would I ask you to matchmake for me? Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Even though there are people that matchmakers that are not in successful relationships or have never been married and matchmake. Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, so watching her do this thing about, like, knowing as if, like, this matchmaking business where she knows all this stuff, it's also inherently, like, I can tell, like, that character could easily get married, no problem. She doesn't have a problem. She's choosing to wait because, and then you watch the movie and you understand, like, there's a love, which is the weight of love versus less love, not no love, less love plus everything versus
security.
A lot of love, plus like not security, but like, you know, rougher.
Yeah.
Rougher.
I meant like when I said security, I meant like financial security.
Yeah, like, and that I like that it wasn't these polar, ridiculously two options that you're like, well, it's definitely where you can see, you can understand how like it would be that, and they each just played it out really, really well. It's written by the woman who wrote Past Lives and the director of Past Lives. That was an Oscar-nominated film. Do you know the one? Past Lives was about a Korean man and woman who were childhood friends, and then the Korean girl left for America, and they were like in love with each other as little kids, and they'd always sort of had this like connection, but they haven't seen each other for like decades or whatever. And then that man comes to America to go visit her because he's about to get married, and he just needs to find her just to see how he feels. And she's like, sure. But by this time, he still speaks only Korean, and she speaks English, and so their words were so different at this point, like culturally so different.
Yeah.
So then that makes it easier for the viewer to understand, like, this can't work out. Like, it's sad, but it can't work out. You know, like, they're so different now. So it's the nuance and the human clarity of the way that was written and directed that is, you can see it in this film where, like, oh, the human clarity of this and, like, the poignant part of, like that.
Yeah. I wanted to see it when it was in theaters, but I don't like the movie theater.
Well, now you can see it in my house for free.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can even watch it, and then we can talk about it, like, we can actually like discuss it
more in depth.
Like,
it looks like a really good one.
I mean, I do believe that if we could all have healthier relationships in general, maybe like everything that's going wrong right now would actually get better, because from a local stand, just like local government to like from your own house and your own community, everybody's happier. Then maybe like then we help cultivate other happy relationships, so that when you see all this crazy stuff, you're just like, no, we're not accepting like this toxic, crazy shit. Like, what is this? Instead of being bombarded by it and you just don't know what to do, like how to react. We're like deer right now. Like,
I know.
Everything's bad.
Everything's bad. Everywhere we turn. And anytime I open up my phone, it's like, oh, shit news. Okay. It's so bad.
I had a friend that I was hanging out with yesterday that was saying that, like, she was listening to our podcast, and she said that she likes when I post and stuff. And I go, I post too much, though. She goes, yeah, you do. You post like 25 times a day on Facebook. I post so much. And I was like, I don't want to. There's just so much news. And I'm like, do you guys know this is happening? Because we should know this is happening. Because otherwise you're just sitting, if you didn't know what's happening, you're just sitting there, everything's fine. And next thing you know, the whole government's been like, you know, you're like, I don't even know. Why didn't anybody say anything to me, right? So I'm like, and that was I said something about like, I had this moment where I was like, I can't believe we elected someone who had to pay someone to have sex with him. Like, that was just like the base. And then another one of my friends was like, we didn't elect him. You definitely didn't elect him.
Yeah, we didn't.
And I'm like, you're right. I was like, collectively, like, we America. But they're like, you have been very vocal about how, like, you are not, like, one of his, like, you do not have to take responsibility for that. And I was like, thank you, I appreciate that. So then I felt like sometimes, like, me posting so much, at least people know, like, they're safe with me. Like, some people know they can come to me
but
to
it just
be safe
sucks
and
because
protected.
it was not our choice, but it's our burden to carry. And it's just...
God, that should be a shirt.
Right? Because it sucks. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks. Because we're just dealing with all of the crazy ass consequences of this person that we don't support and or like.
Okay, so
or barely care for.
His health. Bad bruises.
Did you see that meme that I posted?
I also posted one. I had the Jeff Epstein face on.
Oh no, mine was like, because you know when he had his assassination attempt.
Yeah.
And they all started wearing bandages on his ear. So it was like all MAGA Republicans, and it had somebody hammering their hand.
Oh my gosh.
So they could all have bruises on their hands. Like, I got you. I got your back, funny. President Trump.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, so I've been seeing reports that like people that have family members that had that bruise, like their family members died 2 days later or very soon. So there's another, I don't know about report. I just saw like some doctor said that it could be like if it's what they think is like 6 months.
Yeah. That
he might have to
and it's
left.
a part like his swollen ankles, and he can't walk in a straight line. When you see him walk, he's like fucking waddling around like a penguin.
So does this mean that he's just trying to like burn it all down before he dies? Like, because this I think tracks with the existential crisis he had. But did you see the quote where he's like, "I'm trying to get into heaven"?
Yeah,
I'm not doing really well, and I'm like, wait, what? Why
do better.
No,
Nobody's stopping you.
Why do you care? when did you start caring about that? And then I'm thinking, is there a reason why you care? Is something wrong? And then the Lincoln Project was like, I think we need to notice that the fact that he's so worried about this as being an existential crisis is that maybe that's a sign that his health is failing and he's
What if he's
concerned.
Just like not mentally well?
I also think
everybody's taking advantage in all this Project 2025 stuff.
I agree. I think that's correct because
completely deranged old man.
I was very confused when he got on the roof of the White House and started doing interviews from the roof of the White House because that to me is a dementia situation. Like, you're the president of the United States who just had a assassination attempt. Why would you stand on the roof of the White House and then just take questions? That's never happened before. That's like so bizarre on so many levels. Like, so how did he get up there? Like, I like. There's no way Secret Service just let him get. He must have escaped, gone up there. They had to play it off like it was. They don't want to tackle and bring him down because how do you stand on the top?
Yeah, the Secret Service is like, God damn it, got to get his crazy ass off this roof and make it look.
They were like it's normal.
Like it's normal.
Yeah.
They're like, how the fuck are we gonna do this? How are we gonna spin this?
So
that PR team was freaking the fuck out.
I don't know if. Okay, let me ask you: if he passes away of natural causes and JD Vance.
Oh, JD Vance can.
Are we?
I actually did see.
It's better, yeah.
I did see it
marginally.
No.
Marginally.
Because I think JD Vance can be so easily bought.
Well, where do they have that problem anyway?
Yeah, but did you see how?
But he's a little bit more of a conscience.
And they're the ones who funded and advocated for JD Vance to be elected as VP.
Oh, so they already bought him.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I know he can be bought because look at the way he's acting. It doesn't make any sense. But I feel like there is a conscience somewhere. Like if he took, there would be a. I think he would want to be known at. That's what I'm thinking. I think he would want to be known with a good legacy, and therefore he would like be the opposite of Trump, but still be able to be bought. I'm not saying he's not gonna be able to be bought. I just think that he would try to have like a better.
He would give some
legacy of some sort in some way. Like maybe he will grant school lunches for everybody. Maybe he will then do more after school programs. Maybe he'll help the poor in the Appalachia. You know what I'm saying? Like that.
More friendly to immigrants.
Well, he was poor, so I feel like he would be helpful to poor people and because of that. Trump has never been poor. So I'm not trying to advocate for him. I'm just saying that this is what I see as the difference. And the other option is we have a special election coming up in California for the redistricting. It's going to go because I think state Congress said it was fine. So Texas, they redistricted theirs to gain 5 seats, but what they ended up doing was made 10 districts. Swing states.
Swing seats.
So they could, or swing districts, so that they now might lose 10 seats. So I was like, that is so...
Turn out Texas.
But we are relying on them to be stupid. I think the Democrats' best chance is waiting for Republicans to make mistakes. Yeah. I think that's kind of where we're at because we're so confused. Like, is this really happening? Yeah, it is happening. And then Gavin Newsom parroting, mirroring Trump's like
mocking
the Gavin Newsom like with an eagle on a horse? I don't know. It was like riding some kind of something and being carried by an eagle, shirtless, all buffed out. I was dying. I was like, I remember that Trump one. That was hilarious to see. And then them getting flabbergasted. By him mimicking and how you're being challenged, like he's being challenged. What are you talking about? So it was interesting. This went along with some study about bullying. You used in this as a mom of a kid gets bullied. This was important to realize and learn. So I've changed my tactic too. Bullies are not people that bully, and the victim of the bullying. If the victim of the bullying turns their cheek and walks away. Oh. The peers look at them like it's actually not that respectful. They respect a person who stands up to the bully nowadays. So now we see Newsom doing that with Trump, and we see how we feel as adults, and like we do respect it more. Him, if he had turned the cheek and walked away, we'd be like, that's lame. So we have a shift in paradigm.
What we've been saying about the Democratic Party. It's like they keep playing by the rules and keep trying to be like, giving benefit of the doubt, and people are just losing respect for the party. And now you have Newsom who's just like...
So how do you feel about... Do you think he's going to have a better chance at presidency?
Ugh, gosh.
No?
Okay. So here's the thing about
Newsom.
Newsom.
It's building very strong. I don't know about the South, but...
I don't like Newsom. There are many reasons why I don't like Newsom.
But you would take a workshop. Come on, don't lie.
But I would take him over Trump.
Who else would you, okay, so.
Oh, and here's the funny thing is there was a post, it was on a really popular Instagram, I think it was like Wealth or something, about how we're going to get rid of, in California, how we're getting rid of like Cheetos, Skittles or whatever because of the red dye. Oh, yeah. And there's so many people, and this is just goes to show you how much misinformation or lies are being spread from the Trump administration that people literally guzzle down the fucking Kool-Aid because they were like, why are you thanking Newsom for that? That's RFK Jr. That's all Maha. That's Maha. That's thanks President Trump. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, the legislation that Governor Newsom signed it in 2023 before this election even happened. And he even says in an interview, when he signs it, that it's not going to be implemented into 2027. So now all these fucking Maha people are like, oh, this is our doing, not the Democrats' doing. And even Newsom himself has said, like, RFK Jr. used to be friends with him. Yeah. And he's like, I'm the one who started Maha. I'm the one who started talking about that kind of stuff. And he just took it and he ran with it.
It's like Cynthia Nixon was pro-weed in New York and then Governor Cuomo became pro-weed. Mm-hmm. And it was like, hold on, that was not your platform. Mm-hmm. You just stole the platform from her. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of one of those things where... they culturally appropriate our ideas. Yep. And just like they've culturally appropriated Lincoln. How can you culturally appropriate Lincoln as a Republican and then be doing all this stuff right now?
Putting up Confederate statues.
So that's why I'm like, there is a logical break. There's a break of logic and reality in the Republican Party where they gaslight themselves into believing they're heroes of the Republic when actually they're the terrorists of the Republic. And the only sort of like things that they feel are the romantic shit. Like if they're not feeling like I think they think this makes them machismo, macho, and then it turns out like it's a repellent for women, so they can't understand. Like, wait, this is supposed to like make you guys want us being strong and stuff. These are lies that we've been like. Yours not following by the rules. You're supposed to like us like this,
and we don't.
So how do we have these conversations about getting? I think like there's this phase where I feel like we were like very like we're taking two things and trying to just clarify that to expand knowledge on it, but maybe there's more nuance on everything, and that is maybe the phase we're going into now, because. It's like on one hand we can isolate the GOP and MAGA people, make them feel bad, but then we also can't isolate them because if we isolate them forever, we end up creating almost like another terrorist cell. Yeah. You see what I'm saying?
It becomes a cult within itself to isolate them.
So then we, instead of being like, I don't want to say black and white or binary in that sense where you just choose one or the other, we have to learn to think about everything in nuance so that you give people a place to redeem themselves. You give a pivoting. I love to use the word pivot in like a career sense, but really maybe like in our social understanding of like forgiveness and like learning like, but holding people accountable to a degree, but also not where like I have drawn the line and you cross that line and now there's no turning back ever.
Yeah. Did you see the post that I shared from Emily's Wonderlab? Emily, she's like the space gal. She was talking about how we need to make space so that people can show up for liberal causes imperfectly.
Oh, I 100% agree. Totally agree with that.
Yes,
because
none
of us are perfect.
You. Yes,
we can't.
Share it with you.
I've screwed up many times, like where I thought I'm like super progressive and I said something that like sounded not progressive and then got called out on it, and been like, oh yeah, we can always learn. But I didn't feel I was not treated like a jerk in that room though. Right. So that was the difference. Like if you call somebody out, I've been called out by a progressive and that like tried to make me feel. Like, I've had a white person tell me I was being racist by calling somebody Asian. And I'm like, no, that's not how it works. And then, but it was like, that's how you can tell we went too far. Because when you're missing the point and the nuance, like, that's missing. That's like someone who picked a right and wrong. Right. Everybody that says this is fit in the wrong, and I'm going to stand on my soapbox and tell you that. Even though you literally are... the race we're talking about, you obviously know the nuance of it better, and you didn't say anything. And I was like, I had to break it down. I was like, yo, what the? So we were on the same side. So then I realized if that's how somebody can make me feel on the same side.
Yeah.
So
imagine being on the other side.
But I could also use that same grace. So I could use the same grace I use for my friend who's on my same side who says something super offensive. Mm-hmm. Use that same grace for someone on the opposite side.
People that are on the opposite side, when they say things that are racist or prejudiced, instead of just calling out like, that's racist, that's prejudice, we should be leading with kindness and asking them questions. Because
what's the question? Why do you think that?
Like,
why do you feel that way?
Yeah. Okay. Because most of the time when you're pulling people out of cults, actually there's a podcast I listen to called Trust Me. It's on the Exactly Right Media Network. It's very good, and it's all about cults. And there was a woman who was in a cult, and now she's getting her doctorate in psychology.
Okay.
But she was saying that what pulled her out, or what pulls people out of cults, is not saying like, this is wrong, you're in a cult, da-da-da-da-da.
Okay.
It's asking them questions so that when they leave that situation, it keeps them thinking. They're able to generate their own thought, and they start thinking about it. They start breaking it down.
So from a psychological perspective,
yes,
that an anthropological perspective, that I can understand. I can actually put that into my logical reasoning and be like, okay, I can do that.
Facts at them and like, you're racist because
it also feels very accusatory and mean.
This. And you're stupid. You should know that.
Yeah, there's no coming back for that person. How do I go, no, I'm not? Or like, how do we become friends after this? You just like accused me and said horrible, mean things to me. So that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense because of the fact that like you're asking the question so that they keep asking the question. Yeah. You're not asking the question to find out the answer for yourself.
Yeah.
You're asking the question so that they ask that question of themselves daily.
Yeah, and they start asking
and other people maybe.
Yeah.
And then they in that process break it down and then free themselves.
Yes.
That is genius, actually.
That takes a lot of mental
patience,
strength.
On whose side? Everybody's?
On your side.
The patience of
hard. It's hard when you hear, sometimes you'll hear stuff, and this is just from like personal experience. Like with people within like my friend group, my family, when they say things and I'm like, what the? Because I just want to be like, what the fuck? Why are you saying that? Why would you ever think that? How are you even friends with me and you would say something like that? Like, that's my initial reaction. And I have to take about 10 steps back, take a couple deep breaths, and be like, oh, okay. Like, I just went out to get drinks with a friend who's a different ethnicity of me. And she was saying that she believes that people that are of, like, the same race or ethnicity should stay together.
Okay.
My first initial reaction was like, well, what the fuck? First of all, you know I'm biracial.
Wait,
you know that I'm married to a white man.
See, even contextually, it shouldn't matter, but I do need to, is she white or non-white?
She's Middle Eastern.
Okay, see, this is the nuance I'm talking about. Like,
this is what
that
I'm
also
saying.
adds cultural context
yes.
to it. Yes.
So my first reaction was like, what the fuck? You know, you're talking to somebody biracial. You know that I'm married to a white man. But then I stepped back and I was like, you know what? Asian cultures do that all the time.
Yeah.
They want you to marry, like, I know my cousin. My aunt we're trying to set him up with people from Temple so bad. Like they're like, you need to date a Lao girl. You need to be with a Lao girl.
Yeah.
Da. But he doesn't like Asian girls.
Yeah.
So I like had to take a step back because my initial reaction was to be like, what the fuck? This is kind of fucked up. But I was like, no.
Because you're applying Western rules onto not the right person.
Yes.
And it's not the same context. And there's a reason why that context does matter.
Right.
These conversations don't get to happen all the time because this is my problem. Race is always communicated through black and white. Every once in a while, Mexican because of ICE right now. Mm-hmm. But not in the way that this, like, I would advocate for Mexicans way differently because as Vietnamese people and Mexican people have actually a lot in common, I realized. And so for the black and white, you always hear it from that perspective. I actually just learned that 1 in 25 black people is a millionaire now. So great for them, right? But then I realized, like, we're not talking about Middle Eastern. We're not talking about
South Asian. We're not talking about East Asian.
Indians, Bangladesh,
Southeast Asians.
Thai, Lao, Cambodian, Honduras, Guatemalan, Cuban. You know, there's so many, and we don't really get to talk about it that much, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's always in these like larger conversations. But now I think the nuance is required where we actually do talk about everybody else so that you can get contextually all the little bit like, oh yeah, in that culture you would need to be, you can understand why someone who is highly, highly religious would need to marry someone also similar to the religion. Yeah. So why would it be so difficult to understand culturally the same, right?
Yep. This is what I learned in that minute.
Do you also, there's also the Arkansas?
Yes, the white town.
So their
village.
I think they've had like criminal past too, so they're not like ideally the greatest. But I'm open to the idea only so that it only stays in that place and doesn't spread. Mm-hmm. But the idea that like if they're in there and they want to live only with white people, that's fine with me logically, only if they are not allowed to have anything imported that is from a non-white country. And it's only if those countries even want to.
Them to become Amish.
I want them to understand what it's like. If you really want to isolate yourself, then only do the things that you have access to, and then you'll understand why globalization is important.
So for that white town,
160 acres.
Yeah, so it's at least in part of the interview that I saw, it wasn't because they didn't think less than.
That's what they said.
Black people.
They just wanted a community where they felt like they belonged, like they were safe. Like, why can't we be proud of our own people, like other? And I was like, that is a great case to be made,
because if that's like saying like,
look, it's a gated community. That's essentially what it is. It's a gated community in Arkansas. If they want to create a gated community like that, that's fine. But
for me, I'm like, if you want to interact with all white people, have at it. And that way I don't have to, I know to avoid that. So
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying, thank you for letting me know where you are and I don't have to go there.
Yeah.
But I talked to another friend of mine who's African American about this idea way before this came up, because I had just conceptualized this like in a group of 4. Like if every group of race wanted to do it, and you had that, right? Because then they could trade with each other, because they were also under the same understanding they didn't like to trade with, but only if they had to and under like necessity. But my friend was like, that's a very dangerous thing, because if that happened, Kathy wouldn't stop there. It would go on, and it would eventually become like possibly like a white power situation. So I was like, okay, so if that's how we understand like these things will automatically go and you have to stop it, then that's why this can't happen. So because someone has intellectually explained that to me, then I'm like, all right. But from a social aspect, I'm like, well, maybe that does work better. So I don't know like if the nuance in time, because it's so global, and that's why it's like it's possible
as a society where it's just like.
But then we have Trump in office, so maybe obviously no, we have not progressed enough in society.
Yeah,
right?
we have like a fascist in our White House, so it's. But at the same time, I feel like if they wanted to be like an all-black town, I would be like, cool, like, or like an all
Asian town.
It's hard to break it down, because like, if they're like an all-white town, does that mean like white passing Italians or like white French people or white like?
It's whatever they declare in their charter.
Yeah, it's like whatever. Yeah,
but like how many different types of passports?
Are you gonna decide? You have somebody from the UK who's like literally ghost white. They can't be part of your town because they're from the UK. Like, is it just American white culture? Or
the only thing you would have to do that would really just be the most hilarious. No, you'd be like this. Okay, everybody has to take a DNA test, and you have to be pure white to be able to like almost nobody would be able to. I have a solution to equalize everybody.
Like, yeah, hey, guess what? You have some Native American.
I mean, Conan O'Brien would
would
actually be the only one that could get in there, because he's 100% Irish, and they're like, we've never seen in all of our years of doing DNA testing, we have never seen 100%.
Oh, I love Conan O'Brien.
And they're like, what does that mean? He goes, it means you're inbred.
It means you're inbred.
He's like,
thanks. Great.
But at least he went to Harvard.
Yeah, but also with that town, it's like, at what point are you going to be like fucking your cousin?
No, yeah,
because
I think eventually, because I actually met somebody on a plane from.
These people are wild.
Iceland.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of the Nordic. Anyway, so her son had fallen in love with a girl, and in their area, in their country, because everybody's white, blonde hair, blue eye, everybody has to take a DNA test just to see, just to know, like,
just to make sure
how close are we, and they allow up to
prevent inbreeding.
Yeah, where it's like frowned upon, but like, so they're at 4th. generation.
Is that acceptable?
Well, DNA was, yeah, you're not going to have like bad, messed up, unhealthy babies, but you are, at some point in the family tree, it becomes a bush or whatever. You know?
That's fucking crazy.
Or whatever you would call it. I don't know. Is family tree? Is it just, it becomes,
well,
what is it?
There's only so many people unless you start migrating to other places.
Well, this is the other thing that I noticed just in like biology, if you pay attention, that like actually when you mix races, you end up with beautiful children. So then that can't be against nature. That doesn't really make sense. But if you inbreed, you definitely can end up with some messed up kids. So like why?
There's something in evolution where it says like it's not okay.
So naturally, I think you do want to you want to diversify your mating, but I think it's a political human thing that makes the racism. It's not, because we're all fated black people. I don't know if people understand that. We're all fated early Africans,
from Africa.
Period. And it's only the sun is the reason why we're all different. And the winter and the wind is why our eyes are smaller, because if you're in a place where you needed, like, sometimes the Eskimos, they had the things, and you could see that way. So it's like, there's things like that, you evolve for the geographical location what you needed.
Yeah.
We're just geographical, but we're all literally the same. So it's just, it's like we're fighting over really some stupid shit. Honestly, we're really fighting over some dumb stuff. But the problem is you don't have. It's just it's the culture of our lives now.
Yeah.
Right.
This is what it is now.
So, but nuance I think helps. Also, nuance, grace, intention, and then I think maybe the main thing that progressives need to learn is the level of forgiveness. Like I'm still working on figuring out a forgiveness pathway to somebody who I like. Was like, I'm done with you if you don't believe in due process. Like, I don't want to be around anybody that doesn't believe in due process. That makes me now I have to carry a passport because of people like you, right?
Yeah.
It was such an argument that was so hard. How do I open a space for somebody?
Yeah, how do you create that space?
Right. So then I want to, but I also inevitably think it would just happen again. Because that person hasn't really learned necessarily to like not talk out of pocket necessarily. I don't know. So there's time has to pass. A lot more time has to pass.
Yeah. Sometimes
maturity?
with situations, I feel like it is time. But you could always, I don't know, you could always open up that door with that conversation, that person, and ask some questions.
It's basically like if I have a Christmas party, if I have a holiday party, and I invite everybody, and then they're there.
You're like, you can't bring them.
Well, no, it could be like one of those things like, all right, we're going to try, but everybody's going to know I'm not going to say I've warned everybody about it. I'm not going to do that, because then that creates a thing. But just basically prep, like, there's one person here, if they, like, pop off, just know, like, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But I don't think so, but we'll figure it out, right?
They're going to be surrounded by...
Well, I think what happens with me is when people do that, like, on my Facebook wall, for instance, because I'm so prominently posting about politics and stuff, people jump in my defense before I even need to say anything. If somebody attacks me, I get a lot of people.
And it's worse. It's almost worse when they go after your friends, and it's like, whoa. You don't know them. Don't attack my friends.
Yeah, but then this is also like, I'm like, this is public discourse in a sense. I will moderate. Like you need to be respectful because this person actually does know all this shit. Like, who the fuck are you? I'm like, well, this person graduated from Harvard. They have an economic degree. They actually do know what they're talking about. Oh, yeah. I will do that. Like, let me just, like, before you start acting like, you don't know me. I'm like, well, you don't know them.
Yeah.
Let me just break that down. Have I had people, like, I have lost friends that were, like, friends for 20 years over stuff. Over some person commenting to them and then me commenting, saying, like, you're out of line, and then they're out, right? But everybody can only handle what they can handle, and if you can't handle the truth of me calling you out because it hurts your feelings, like, I'm sorry, but I've had real consequences in my life because of these leadership decisions. So I'm trying to, like, honestly, I'm trying to protect everybody. I'm literally trying to protect everybody from going through what my family went through, and so that's my stance is, like, I don't care if I hurt your feelings. I need you to understand, like, there is death in my family. There is, like, real pain and suffering from it, and, like, you guys need to understand, like, it's so easy to talk about, like, jokingly, because in America, we're so privileged that we get to talk about things and it doesn't affect us, right? A lot of people talk about things theoretically. That's why I love our podcast, because when I explain, like, oh, what do you guys talk about? I go, oh, actually, we talk about some intense stuff, and because we actually have very first world experience in some of the topics, we're experts in our own way because we actually know. We're not theoretically like, I heard people do this, or sometimes it can go like this. Like, we tell you exactly what happened, exactly the nuance of it, exactly how law enforcement handled it, where they went wrong, where they went right. And you can't deny, especially the power of two of us, not one of us.
Yeah.
Two of us having, and the age difference. Like when it happened to you, when it happened to me, the failure, the success, right? Like where the different things, and then was it really a success? And we can break that down. That's what makes our point of view so powerful. And that's why it's like we have to stand in it because we know what we're talking about. Versus when you talk to other people who don't. And sometimes when someone knows they don't know what they're talking about, they can't help but get super defensive because they know they don't have the ability to like give evidence that supports their point. They just feel
What's that
way.
Effect called? The
Dunning-Kruger?
Yeah, Dunning-Kruger effect.
You don't know what you don't know effect? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I will say, I don't know what I don't know when I'm in a conversation with someone where I'm like, I'm going to just tell you I don't know what I don't know.
Yeah.
But a lot of people can't do that.
They can't.
Or they don't even know what it is.
You know what is a good tool is like when you, instead of saying like you disagree with somebody, I do this at my workplace a lot because in my workplace there are people that don't say things, and instead of being like, oh no, you're wrong, I'm like, oh, you know what, I'm not sure I didn't hear that, like let's look it up together.
That's good. That's a great way of doing it.
And I, instead of just shutting them down party, and just, I'm like, okay. And so we'll both like look at our phones and check and be like, okay, this is what I found, this is what I found. And then we kind of talk about it instead of like just
challenging each other. Shutting
it down. If you want to stand there and make that bold statement, like, let's find the receipts to back it up. Yeah. And if we don't find the receipts, then it's like, they're like, oh, because if I say like, well, I know this, they're going to be like, well, no, I know. And then it's harder for them to back down. Yeah. But if I open that vulnerability and like, oh, well, I really don't know. It allows them to be like, oh, I didn't know that either. Yeah. And then it allows them that space for them to pivot and change their mind. That kind of thing. I think we touched on some good stuff here. Yeah, actually, because we're kind of like creating like a blueprint on how to like navigate out of difficult conversations that have to be had with people you care about. Yeah. People that you actually want to like maintain a friendship with, a relationship with. And then also opening it up. I think you could give yourself like a year or two. Let's say you have a bad conversation with someone. You could give yourself a year at most and then try to like, hey, just thought about you. Mm-hmm. If you care. You know, and if you care about them, like, you know, there's something powerful about a friendship that is deep enough that you can overcome a terrible falling out. Because then you become really close after that because you've overcome something really, really big. Mm-hmm. Those are the strongest friendships. So this could be a turning point where we become an even closer nation because maybe we find that some of the things that we had talked about, we actually did agree. We just didn't understand that, like, what we were arguing about wasn't as severely different. It was just said in a way that sounded like we had to take up for somebody. Yeah. And in the process, we fought each other. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's more like that. And because I'm telling you right now, I think the Gaza conversation has changed so... I'm so happy. This is why I think, like, because that was one of those lines in the sand. I never thought, like, if... Because remember, I lived in, like, the largest Jewish area outside of Israel in New York City. So, like, everywhere around me was Orthodox Hasidic Jews. And, like, there were markets I wasn't allowed to go into because they're Jewish. They weren't service. So, it was one of those things where... When I lived there, it was like there was no way that you could ever say anything, even just even a question, because it was the idea that it was anti-Semitic to even give a compliment. Really? Yeah, so I would be like, I think that's so awesome that you guys like have a word that is so strong that everybody is afraid to like say anything to hurt you. And then I read that like even it's anti-Semitic to like praise because it's like almost like it can create a form of jealousy that can be negative. So it was like not only could you not say negative things, you also shouldn't say like overly positive things. So just not acknowledge it and just accept it for what it is? Is that what it... I think it was, essentially because that's sort of it was like a silence was the strongest thing. Mm-hmm. But it had worked all this time, right? Because we didn't, I didn't realize how much they had, I did, but I didn't. Like I knew... But now I'm understanding, it's like, I want to say maybe 30 times more than what I expected of the level of power. At minimum, at least that much more power. And so I'm like, that is pretty serious. Yeah. But to see, like, if you see a post about
Israel now. Oh, so this is what happened. This is what struck me. In Beverly Hills, there was some kind of... I used to live in Westwood, and I used to do everything in Beverly Hills. So Beverly Hills School District, there was supposed to be... It was like an ordinance or something that all the schools were supposed to have Israel's flags. And then they just decided not to do that because they didn't want the kids to then have to deal with any negative attacks. So first I read, I'm like, why would Israel's flags be all over? And then it was like, oh, it's like a Israel, like Jewish heritage. So then, that makes sense. Because I drove by Beverly Hills last week, and it was all the Israel flags were all across the, the Beverly Hills sign that's like in front of the water, the famous one? Next to that, to the right, there's this area where that's where like a lot of like activations for like protesting things are.
With like school shootings and things like that, why would you want to put that target on children?
But that's how much it had changed. I was like, whoa. And then when I looked at the comments, it was all pro-Gaza and Palestine.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, wow, like that conversation has very much changed now. So then I think that we can do all of these things. Everything we're talking about, like we can talk in nuance.
Yeah.
And people could be open. We could figure out a pathway forward where we're all more unified together. I think a little grace... A couple breathe, like just sigh it out.
A couple deep breaths go a long
Maybe a
way.
peace pipe. I really do believe like a peace pipe can go a long way.
Yeah. Between
people, like, look, we had this, like, let's sit down and smoke and like talk about that. If you do that, some kind of olive branch bringing together to have a conversation, at least open dialogue.
Yeah.
Maybe that could be something. Could you guys, anybody's listening, is there somebody that, not a horrible person, not somebody like completely destroyed you, but is there somebody in your life that you have been thinking about that you want to reach out to and just see how they're doing, and then open up line of communication to see if you can get together? I actually did that today with somebody, so I'm challenging you to do that as well. And yeah, so are we the only ones that think that it is possible? It is possible for reconciliation between the reasonable people of both sides.
Yeah.
First,
there's
to talk.
Always going to be people that are more extreme, but I don't think that's most people.
I think everybody wants to move forward. I'm getting that sense. But we're listening to the crazies, and then we just think like we're too scared. But I think if now the more, I don't want to say moderate, but like hybrid thinking people, because I feel like a moderate is like you're in the middle. I think a hybrid is like you pick from all over the spectrum of whatever, and you have your own belief of what is right. But you can also empathize and understand if somebody needs to do it differently. Now the decision is when it impedes in each other's lives. That's when it... Yeah. How far do we allow each other's philosophies to impede in the other person's actual life is what we need to discuss and determine.
Yeah. Are we the only ones ready to pass the peace pipe?
I like that one.
Yay! All right. Until next time, you can find us on Substack at arewetheonlyonesepod.com, on Instagram at arewetheonlyonesepod. Those two are like where we're most active, I feel like. How's it?
Oh, we're coming up with merch.
Yeah.
We're coming up with merch
for sure.
So for subscribing members, welcome to the subscribing members. Thank you very much for joining.
Thank you.
And for the annual subscriber, that's subscribing members. And we're the new founding members, like when I'm creating merch packages for the different levels. And then we're going to take a photo of it, and then we'll post it on our Substack. So you can actually see, like, if whatever membership level you're at, you're going to join, you'll see what you'll get. So it's not just some, like, abstract, like, you're going to get something. Like, we're talking about different things, like branded or, like, maybe products that we like from other people.
Let us know if there's something in particular that you're loving. Like, if it's a tote bag or a T-shirt or...
Like, something
coffee
unique.
Mugs or...
Yeah, if you're like, I need a mug or I need a tumbler or I need... a notepad, or I need something that like generally like something for inspiration, or we could do something like a little better. I
get super excited over tote bags. I freaking love tote bags. Like every time I go to the bookstore and they have like a new one, I'm like, ooh, I don't need one, but I really want one.
Because like part of it is like tote bag, journal, pen, very basic, or I was sort of thinking like calming products, like if you wanted to zen out, like if we were able to find like cool products that like maybe a candle, maybe we can collaborate. So we're thinking of
maybe some CBD gummies.
Yeah, we're definitely thinking. We do Also, Dispensary is definitely going to do a merch package for us. They cannot send anything with CBD or THC because it's illegal. So everything will be non...
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's just going to be like...
CBD.
No, it'll be just products that are totally legal, like a rolling tray or accessories, like things like that.
Okay.
But cool, I mean, that's great. That's a great thing. So, so if you're interested in subscribing and then being part of our merch drops that we'll be giving for those members and want to participate in like giving us ideas, feel free to either like comment on a post or you can email us or
at Are We the Only Ones Pod?
Yes, you can.
At Gmail.
And you can also DM us on IG. Either way, whatever. They'll all work.
And then make sure that you follow us wherever you're listening to podcasts and also rate us and review us. Please, that helps out. Thanks.
Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.